Hello, welcome to another interesting episode of the program. Our sports preview on Bua Community Voice is an amazing day to have you. We are looking at one very strong topic, and it has to do with the inflation in the world of football. The average cost of a top player, top end signing in the Premier League has exploded. The 100 million plus pounds player is no longer an outlier, but it's becoming increasingly commonplace. A trend that started by Jack Grealish, 100 million pounds move to Aston Villa to Man City's 2021 has an effect and snowballed into establishing a new benchmark for elite Premier League talents that continues to send records stumbling. Fees since then have begun to accelerate for beyond general market inflation. In fact, with the average price for dipping into the premium player pool now doubling, because we have to look at these players and the moves and all of the benchmark that have happened with all of these top players, from most expensive player from Paul Pogba moving now to Morgan. If you go back to the years and what we have done. So on this program today, we're looking at the reason, or if at all, some of these players are worth the millions of pounds are above 100. Romelu Lukaku 97.5, Moses Caicedo. We know the price for Enzo Fernandez, Declan Rice, and now Morgan Rogers. So we'll talk about all of this. My name is Oji of the W. Welcoming you. I am flanked by a gentleman and a lady. Welcome to this interesting episode. Of course, a lady and a gentleman to talk about this. It's increasingly disturbing where prices of players go up from 2017 down to 2027. Florian Wirtz, 116 million pounds. Alexander Isak, 125 million pounds. Elliot Anderson, 160 million pounds. Sandro Tonali to Tottenham, 100 million pounds. Morgan Rogers, a 117 million pounds sale in a domestic transfer between an English team and an English team. First, is Morgan Rogers worth this price?
He's not, because he's just 23 years. I've looked at his statistics, or from most people do not know that Morgan Rogers played for Manchester City, but never got an opportunity to play. He was loaned out. And then from when he played in Middlesbrough, before he came to Aston Villa, he played 26 times and scored only 2 goals. Morgan Rogers, yes, 85 caps for Aston Villa, 25 goals is a stat that you say, but he's in one season wonder player. To me, I've looked at him all his careers, and I've not really seen that much of an impact he makes in a team. Yes, he did very well for Aston Villa, did well for England in the World Cup. But for me, Morgan Rogers shouldn't be costing that amount. He should say 65, 70, okay, because of the price inflation on players these days. But for me, that is too expensive. And when you put a player in this kind of box a player in this amount of money, you're putting a lot of pressure on that player. That's what happened to Florian Wirtz with Liverpool. That pressure was much. They needed him to perform for that amount of money that they bought you for. You needed to perform, and the pressure affected him. Even though you want to say it's a slot pattern of play, but we saw him at the World Cup. What extraordinary thing did he do? That is just him. He's that kind of player that takes his time to grow and grow and grow and eventually become better. But I hope this did not come back to bite Morgan Rogers, because we saw it in Grealish. The Grealish, and at the end of the day, did he live up to expectation? No. This is what, when you buy a player for this amount of money, you put a lot of pressure on him, and now he's under intense pressure. I like the fact that he's coming out to say yes, Chelsea is the big club, Chelsea is that. Chelsea is quite better than Aston Villa, but for me, an Aston Villa that is going to the UEFA Champions League, you are comparing an Aston Villa that is in form, a very good form right now with the Chelsea. That's a downgrade for him, but that amount of money is too much for him.
Okay, too much in your opinion. Now, coming to you, Podolski. We've seen these transfers over and over again. In fact, in this current season, we've seen Anderson Elliott also moving to Manchester City. But let's keep our concentration on Morgan Rogers. Don't you think it's a little too high for a player?
This is the first time I'm going to support you because one, I just look at it and say it's because it's an English player.
Yeah, because we also know that there's a threshold of the number of English
Yeah.
players that you need.
What Anderson, that money was too much for him. Morgan Rogers, okay, this is somebody that scored his first professional goal in 2021. He scored it when he was in Lincoln. That was 26th of July 2021, scoring his first winning goal against Portsmouth. So looking at him, this is somebody who had been on loan. Even when he played for Man City, he was not able to break to the senior level. Even Blackpool, he was not able to break to the senior level. He had been on loan. Last season, 2025-2026 season, we can see that he only scored 10 goals with 6 assists. So I look at him, I just say this is too much for him. Him moving into Chelsea is not a big plus for him. Now, if we look at his career game, this is somebody who have scored 46 to 50 goals as a footballer. So me, I will look at him, I will just tell you that it is not money well spent. This is money used for another thing. Now, if you look at, I said that the best goal that he has scored was when he scored hat-trick against Celtics in the UEFA Champions League. That is the best. I will just tell you that yes, he did well. Yeah, but Chelsea is spending huge amount of money for him. I think it's because he's an English player and he was being influenced by all these reporters that he's going to do well in Chelsea.
Plus reporters and agents.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still young, 23 years.
Still young.
But now, can we say that any of the high transfers has been can we even think about them?
Last season.
Or are we going to say Enzo Fernandez is a success in Chelsea?
Like most of them are trying to deliver. Let's say, okay.
Moise Caicedo, where are they? You know, you look at that list and you want to think about it. Romelu Lukaku, Tonali just happened, Jack Grealish, Declan Rice, Enzo Fernandez, Moise Caicedo, Florent Virus, Alexander Isak. We saw £125 million in Liverpool last season. I've not seen any of these players that you say went on to become a cult hero for the team after this transfer. If there's any, I stand to be corrected.
Like what she said.
I mean, the only player from all of this list is Declan Rice. He's living up to expectation.
He's speaking up. He's not where we expected him to be by now.
No, I disagree
at this
with
moment,
Declan Rice.
how much do you think Declan Rice is worth at the moment? Is he worth more than what he was signed for?
At the moment, Declan Rice should be up to 120. Yes, he has.
Okay. But you know that if it was somebody like Arsenal that went for Morgan now, Arsenal will only price highest 60-80 euro. Apart from that, they can now go higher than that.
Arsenal was on the radar of Morgan Rogers. Manchester United was on the radar of Morgan Rogers.
If it was Manchester United will not pay such amount.
Chelsea was never increased. All of a sudden, Chelsea popped up and got him.
I think because of where Manchester United are financial wise, and the managers they are trying to be careful of transfers. But look at what Chelsea is doing. Chelsea is spending money on the transfer fee and less on salary. I don't know if you've taken time to look at that.
And most of the players
I know that transfer fees come higher, but it's once. So the salaries come weekly or monthly, but you have to keep paying. So when you look at Chelsea, I think what they are doing is get them for a high fee, pay them little salaries, and put them on a 7 years, 6 years, and 5 years contract, and so you can get a breather too. Than when you get a player like you get a player for say £60 million, and you have to pay up to £300,000 weekly for that player. Put it together on a 5 years, then you realize how much money you're going to spend on that player. So I think that's what's happening at United, and that's where probably things are beginning to drift into. But I have a problem. I think I totally agree with what you're saying. These high monies put a lot of pressure on the player involved. Because I've looked at this list, I feel like you've talked about Declan Rice good, and probably Enzo Fernandez or Moises Caicedo slightly. But how many trophies have they been able to deliver? I don't think they've been able to deliver a Premier League title for Chelsea ever since they came.
Now, Declan Rice Conference League and World Cup, Club World Cup.
You can see. Now, Declan Rice have been able to do one Premier League for Arsenal since he arrived. So I think when you're getting a player for over £100 million, he should be coming to take the team to the next level instantaneously. Like I said, become a cult hero, build himself around the team. I mean, give it season in, season out. So I feel like the inflation in football should be controlled. They've tried very well with the financial fair play, and I think that's where teams are doing this. So they want to get high money so that they can spend high money. And when Aston Villa get to see the market, they say we are spending that £100 million that was paid for Rodgers.
I think it's Aston Villa that is enjoying this market recently, because look at the players they are selling recently. I don't know what's their plan, but if they have a good plan and a well structured team, they will still recover. Because what thing I notice about Aston Villa, they will buy you with a small money and sell you and develop you and sell you high.
That's business. That's how it should be.
The business is doing well for them.
But I just pray it also transcends to their performance when they get to the continent. Because sometimes you collapse these things and you just end up being very, very small. We saw the Greek trees struggle, get almost relegated. You know, the last time out, because they had to that's a team who were playing in Europe just some moments ago.
They've not even go anywhere.
You know, so you think about that. You also talk about West Ham United. You talk about Brighton and Hove Albion. When you let these superstars leave, you struggle to try to build another team with another manager in cases like that. So we see what happens.
I think the best advice I will even give to most teams is that if you are creating a vacuum, you should make preparation for who is going to fill that vacuum.
Now,
because
if you create a vacuum of £100 million, are you going to replace with £100 million? Of what essence was the transfer? So you see that you're going for the scouts will work, get a player who you feel will replace that player, but on a lower amount.
Yes.
So you got something to save around the club.
Yes.
But then, if those scouts knew they can get a player that can replace exactly, why didn't the other team go for that player that your own? So you understand that there is a reason why such value is placed on the player. Potential. Look at what happened to the man who moved to Barcelona, and you're dropping Marcus Rashford, who's going to come cheap.
yes,
For what's his name again? For Gordon. So you look at these transfers and you marvel. Gordon is a good player, but is he proven yet? The answer is no.
but Rashford has proven himself
Exactly.
when he was on loan.
But you cannot compare. You cannot compare. I mean, they are looking at young, fresh players. Marcus Rashford is 29 years.
So why don't
So they want to let go of the age grade and build.
So what is happening in La
young players.
Masia, where you can still play with someone who's 29 till he's 30, 31?
You should go to Italy.
Okay.
Italy is so that kind of
at
titular
what
club
age?
that will always. But you know, Barcelona have always been.
That's what
a
made they sign
youthful side.
Lewandowski. That's what made they sign Lewandowski.
There will always be need for experience to come in.
Exactly.
But we're saying
Now where is the
But we are
experience now?
saying-
Because Lewandowski is leaving.
he has already gone.
Where you come from, if not for the likes of Rashford. These are things. You have a front line of Gordon, Lamine Yamal,
Rafinha,
and Rafinha. You look at all of these.
Rafinha is not a young player. Rafinha is in his 30s.
yes,
So you bring that experience in that front line.
Probably. We'll see from this United and where he's gone. We're talking players in Manchester United, we're talking Bayern, players who've played at the highest level of the game. But then you have to give it to him. So, but I feel like these agents and inflation have done a lot of bad because in the pricing of these players, oh my goodness. Then I was asking, I'm going to say this on camera. Osimhen is for how much? And Morgan Rogers is for how much? So why would I go get Morgan Rogers than to get an Osimhen into a Chelsea structure?
Morgan Rogers is not a striker.
I'm not talking about strikers. I'm talking about I have Pedro Neto in that team
Okay.
already, and there's an Estevao in the other side who is still very pretty young,
okay,
and they can also interchange
yes,
in those wing areas. Now I do not have a number 9 because of course they've said Liam Delap should find his way out, Jackson should find his way out. Now, why would I invest heavily on a winger again?
There's a João Pedro. That's
Who can also
Is
no, he's not a striker.
He's not a striker.
In the capacity,
He's not being
Boy,
converted.
converted.
you're not even understanding. I said in the capacity of an Osimhen
Okay.
for £116 million or £112 million for a player. I'm trying to say the wing play at Chelsea is not an emergency.
Yeah.
I can tell you why. João Pedro can drift to that position. Yes, he can come in from the left wing.
Well.
So is not an emergency to what a number 9 is at the team now. Now, in fact, centre back, I'm hearing about a deal agreed for Lacroix for Chelsea. Centre back is a more serious place where I'm thinking you could go spend the £100 million on Upamecano, you could spend it on Kubasi, but you're spending it on the wings. I don't know if I'm making sense to you. The wing play at Chelsea is not an emergency. So I wonder what the scouts in the club are doing, what the agents are influencing, because for it, there are no. Then the goalkeeping role at Chelsea is an emergency. This defense in the centre back is an emergency. In fact, Kukureya was sold to Barca.
And where is the replacement?
It's an emergency. And you're getting wingers at the highest cost. Look, you can't win games without good goalkeepers. You can't win without a good defense. You can't win without a good striker. I mean, strikers who are giving 20 plus goals. Pedro can never. He's not scoring. He's in fact, I spoke about that about Victor Gyökeres. He's not the one who won Arsenal the league. He can't score 20 plus goals. Now, you saw the money that been invested to get Haaland. Now, Haaland is a striker who you're competing with in the league. The likes of Isak. And you're thinking about Joao Pedro being converted as the leading striker.
He cannot do that.
And you have Rodgers coming at 100.
But Rodgers can also play from open play as a top 9.
So Rodgers might be the top 9 that Chelsea have signed.
He can never be the
So
top.
with
The top 9, just the top 9 scoring only 10.
I mean, if you have followed Xabi Alonso all this while, Xabi Alonso do not depend on the striker. I followed him from Bayern Leverkusen, followed him in Real Madrid. You could see that he is not that kind of manager that depends on a striker. So let's see what he wants to bring on the table. And I think Morgan Rodgers plays the kind of football that Xabi Alonso loves to play.
We've had a very pretty good discussion, but of course we must also infuse the fact that what he's done in Germany. The Premier League is as fast-paced as anything. And I think it happened to him when he got to Real Madrid. He realized the difference between the Bundesliga, the Spanish Liga, and now he will realize the Premier League.
He's also there because he once played in the Premier League.
And now at the moment, the player power and the caliber of player, we don't have players who are committed like the times of Alonso.
Yes, when he played with Steven Gerrard.
We have midfielders now, Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, who discuss with teams even when they're playing with you. Obama, are they going to assist the kind of striker you're going to play? You have them score goals, strike. Well, let me not waste time talking about team play until the league starts. You know how we do it here. Thank you very much for being a huge part of this. So you can drop via the comment section if you think Morgan Rodgers is worth the price. She is of the opinion that he's not worth it. You're of the opinion that he's not worth it. Especially he's hitting football very hard. So you can of course be part of this conversation so we can talk more about this. Don't forget the program is partly sponsored by our friends at MancyBet. It's www.mancybet.ng to be a part of this one. From me, is adios.